Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast, episode number 34 with myself, Ryan Fitzsimons, a two-man show today. McGinlay, you're back here.
Always back.
You're here and you're always here.
God bless me.
And God bless you. What a weekend, Ryan. Another just beautiful performance from Ange's Celtic. Another 3 goals. Yes, we conceded 2, but who cares? I mean, we're sitting here right now and we walked into this studio today. And the first thing you said to me was, it could be the best football I've seen us play in years in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, the first half anyway was absolutely outstanding, sensational play. You've got Rogic turning back the years, you've got McGregor turning back the years, you've got Turnbull playing into the system finally. Another good performance by Forrest, Kyogo. Edward looks interested. He was buzzing with his performance yesterday. First half, you couldn't really have any complaints. I don't think Hearts would have had any complaints if they went in 5 or 6-0 at half time, because we just didn't take our chances. It could have been 5, 6, 7, whatever. Second half, they changed a couple of things. I think they took Halliday off.
Yep, Halliday was away at half time. I mean, was that injury related, or is it just once again one of those days at Parkhead for him where he forgets how to play football?
It's just to get him ready for the podcast. I
was about to say, is he going to be on open goal this week?
I think he will be. I don't think he'll be as happy as what he was the other day.
Because
he's ran ragged because Kyogo halved him. And then hugged the
referee.
He hugged John Beaton. John Beaton's probably not had a hug in about 5 years.
I can't believe John Beaton's actually getting a hug. Like, what's that about?
His mom probably doesn't hug him.
Well, the performance from Beaton at the weekend, by the way, absolutely shocking. One of the worst refereeing performances I remember seeing at Parkhead for that long. And I've seen a few bad ones. And I've always having this like. I don't want to be looked at as the person that's like always blames the ref. I've never had a history of that in my channel. I don't like using the referees as excuses and complaining about referees, but it genuinely was one of the worst refereeing performances that I've seen in a long, long time. It was really poor.
I don't get to begin with, because he refereed the game 2 weeks ago, so why is he refereeing the same fixture?
I know, I was thinking that.
He didn't do anything to deserve having that sort of fixture. It was probably the biggest fixture of the weekend. In fact, it was the biggest fixture. Yep. Celtic Hearts, a big game. It should have been someone different.
Let's not give him a platform. Let's just
halt that train before it goes into overdrive.
I know, we'll end up being here all day. Never defeated, always cheated, never defeated. That's the saying, innit? No, listen. Big shout out to G4 Claims, by the way, for having us into the studio today. We've got a lot to talk about in that game. We're just getting started. We've got so many things to break down. We're going to be talking about midweek as well, as Celtic take on AZ Alkmaar, and what is going to be a very, very important tie for the Hoops. We need to get to the Europa League. So we've got that to talk about. We've got transfers to talk about. There is news floating around about in the past hour since we've got here. So we'll cover that. We're also going to cover the Twitter questions as well. One thing we don't have this week, Ryan, and this is a letdown for everybody. There is no quiz.
No quiz. I am so sad about that, but at the same time, I can't get beat this week, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm raging because I thought this would be my week to maybe play.
Kieran Auld is deceased. He's once again in a 2-day hangover.
He's some boy.
The boy is broken.
He is absolutely. He's broken Matt Hardy.
Broken Kieran Auld. Broken Kieran Auld. He's got to turn up next time with a blonde streak through his hair.
Blonde streak? Has he not already got blonde hair?
He's going to turn up with a brown streak through his hair, and he's got to be talking in some broken Victorian English.
I hope that doesn't go over everybody's heads. I hope we've got quite a few wrestling fans here, you know.
If you don't know what broken Matt Hardy is, then unlucky.
It's a pure weird thing to look up as well. So.
Truly an experience,
yeah, definitely.
to say the least.
Broken Kieran Auld. That is a great start to the show.
But one thing that wasn't broken was Celtic yesterday.
First half.
Do you know what's weird? So I work on a Sunday, right? I know we're starting off with a rabbit hole already. I work on a Sunday, and it's really fucking annoying that we're going to be basically playing all our home games on a Sunday for the next 4 or 5 months.
Aye.
Because it's just such a farce for me to go to the game at 3 o'clock, get out the game, go home, make a video, make dinner, and then get to work for 7 o'clock. It's just annoying.
It's not ideal, is it?
It's no ideal. I hate these Sunday kickoffs. I really do. I don't mind them sometimes, but I just give me Saturday. I just like a Saturday.
Obviously, they're inconvenient for you because your working patterns, but on the opposite side, I actually quite like them because I said a few weeks ago that it extends your weekend a wee bit more.
I know, I get that. It gives you like. It depends what you do, I suppose, because I think there's more chance of me being hungover on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's just an equal chance.
I mean, you can maybe just not drink on the Saturday.
Who are you talking to?
I mean, I'm just using my example. I didn't drink on Saturday. I had a nice wee McDonald's. I went to my bed.
It's not my fault. Your life is boring.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Big here.
Listen, I've been often compared to George Best. I'm the George Best of the YouTube scene.
Let's hope you last a bit longer than George Best. Then.
God bless him. Aye, so Celtic 3, Hearts 2. Yeah, first half I thought we were magical, we were brilliant, we were just creating chance after chance, and if it wasn't for Craig Gordon, who's been taking a lot of slack, by the way, big Craig Gordon, I've seen him getting it tight.
Loving it.
Craig Gordon, if it wasn't for him, you know, we would have been up 6 or 7-0 in that first half, and the way that I was looking at it, and I said this in my video yesterday, I was like, well, do you know what? If Rangers score 5, let us go out and score 6. And I was hoping that was what we were going to do. I was hoping we were going to score 6 or 7. I really did see it coming, but fair play to Craig Gordon, who made a lot of good saves. Second half, we weren't quite as rampant, but you know, the annoying thing I think people talk about is the way we conceded the goals. We gave away a silly penalty, and the goal at the end, you could say Carol Starfelt had a pretty poor game. But
Very
overall,
shaky.
I was happy with the general performance. I think 3-2 flattered them. I think it's a free. Usually, you'd look at a 3-2 and go, you kind of breathe through your teeth and go, oh, we got away with that there. But it was never a 3-2 game.
It was the most one-sided 3-2 game I think I've ever watched in my life. The score sort of, you would say, probably flattered Hearts at the end. It made it look as if they were in the game when they really weren't for the vast majority of it. I think they started getting into the game and we tired because obviously we can't keep up the same sort of intensity for 90 minutes. I think that's been shown in a couple of games this season. Maybe that's just down to Ange maybe not trusting the subs to come on and do the same thing that the starting 11 are doing. That'll come with squad depth. Hopefully we can get a few people in the door the next couple of weeks so that can be addressed. But no, I think for 60 minutes we could beat anyone. Once the fitness levels drop off a wee bit, then we look a wee bit more vulnerable.
Do you know there's one thing I know and I will agree with you, definitely you can notice the difference, and it's natural when you're playing such fast paced football for it to get a little bit slower towards the end and the legs to tire. But if we tried any of this last season, if we tried any of this a matter of 4 months ago, the team would be dead after 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
They'd be done in. The fitness is picking up, it's picking up big time, and I think this is only the beginning of it. I think Ange wants them to be able to play like that for 90 minutes, not 60 minutes, 90 minutes.
That's exciting if we can do that. I don't know how humanly possible it is to keep up with that sort of tempo. I think, like I said, once we've got some players through the door that can influence the first team maybe more than the subs that we've already got, because a lot of the subs just don't look up to it for me.
Who were our subs yesterday then? So we brought on Ayeti, we brought on Montgomery, Sorrow and McCarthy. I was happy to see McCarthy come on yesterday, but I still think he's a couple of weeks off being fully fit. He looks very rusty, but he could still pick a pass. And I don't know if you noticed, but he was sort of directing Starfelt and Welsh where to be. That's so good that they have a leader in front of them as well as behind them with Hart. So they've got two guys that are speaking to them constantly. That's only going to help the team in the weeks ahead, I think. Yeah, we need that, especially heading into these bigger games. You know, AZ Alkmaar, Rangers in a couple of weeks' time as well. You know, it's annoying to me, and I don't want to take it all back to being negative. It's annoying for me that we are allowing ourselves to head into these games still vastly unprepared. Yep. That's the reality of it. We are playing well, there's no denying that, and that's massive respect to Ange Postecoglou. But you flip the coin and you look at the Don Mackay side of things and you go, well, he's allowed our manager to go into these games, Rangers, AZ Alkmaar, without the required areas, you know, the players that we need. So That is annoying, but I'm just certainly getting the best out of it. But that between what you're saying, Hart and McCarthy, is going to be vital for those sort of games, the big pressure moments when the leaders need to stand up and tell the young boys what to do.
I think the two are already looking like inspired signings, Hart and McCarthy, and I can see why they've been brought in, because they're vocal leaders there that we were missing. I would say last season we were missing that vocal presence at the back, like Forster. That was last season's problem. We didn't have that sort of vocal guy at the back. And then obviously we need to replace Brown, but McCarthy seems to know his way about shouting at people and sort of instructing them to do things. But I just to go back to the thing you said about Don Mackay, and there's only one analogy that I can really think of. It's like, see when your car is needing petrol and you take more and more risks at making a journey when you've got that red light on. I feel like it was me last week, honestly.
It's me constantly. I run it right down to the very, very end.
But we're taking risks every round that we go to. Every round is like another journey, and it's going lower and lower, and all of a sudden it's just going to conk out.
That's a nice...
It just came to me there, and I don't know.
It's quite nice. I like that. Well done.
Poetic. I don't know. We're taking risks. We as much as I'm loving the way Ralston's playing just now. I don't think he's going to be the starting right back. It's important that we don't get too sentimental with Ralston.
Yep.
We can do better than Ralston.
I've said in the last 2 or 3 shows, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we need to make sure that we're not guilty of getting naive to suggest it.
I think Celtic fans can be like that though sometimes.
We definitely can, and I'm included. I think we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
The one example is, and he's playing well at the moment, of course, but the one big example was when Rogic came into the team last season, and I think all of us were in unison in saying, this is it, a turnaround for Rogic's career. He's going to be the best player this season for us. And
do it over 10-15 games.
And then and it was like 3 games that later, and Rogic was back to doing nothing.
Exactly.
We are all guilty. We, as a fan base, I think we can all admit we are a slight bit.
We jumped the gun.
We do.
But I think that's just because we're quite an excitable fan base as well.
Yes.
We're passionate, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, we need to watch that we're not too naive with players that are in here that are doing a good job just now, because I think the real acid test is on Wednesday for Ralston. If he can come through that,
you taking acid, aye?
Maybe before that game, get me buzzing for the game. I don't know. No, I'm kidding on. Disclaimer. Actually, just cut that, man. That's mental.
It's not being cut.
No,
it's funny. It's funny.
Fair enough.
I can confirm that no one at the Select the Thunder will be taking acid.
No, definitely not. But it's just a saying anyway. Wednesday is the acid test for Ralston. If he can come through that unscathed, then we're onto something. But at the same time, I want us to have the best possible right back and left back for that matter as well in the team. I don't want guys that are there just because they're doing okay. I want the best possible people in that position. I don't want to settle for anything less than what we can do at this point. I just want the best for Celtic, to be honest.
Yeah. Taylor and Ralston both, once again, I thought weren't dreadful. I think there was a couple of occasions though yesterday where we did see, I think Ralston was more guilty of being caught out a little bit, and as you said to me earlier, Joe Hart kind of had to correct that. That was like a kind of like you're committing yourself a bit too much, and we used the word excitable a minute ago for Celtic fans. Maybe with the way we're playing, the fullbacks and the centre backs are getting a little bit too excitable with how far they push up.
I've just get that worry that he gets too excitable in one game, and I know I'm sort of like trying to like predict the future, and I obviously don't want it to happen. These things happen like when a guy gets too excitable and he goes into a really rash challenge. You know what European referees are like.
Yep.
They'll stamp out anything that happens. He could easily just go and lunge.
You seen it when they beat on 3 weeks ago.
Yep, absolutely. It's just I want somebody that is internationally experienced, and obviously we'll talk about who we're linked with.
Yes.
In a few minutes, basically, or something like that. I want what's best for Celtic, and I'm enjoying the way Ralston's playing. He's playing brilliantly. He's been one of our best performers this season, but I'm just worried about how long he can keep it up for.
So in terms of the game as well, Kyogo scores again, Odsonne Edouard scores again. There was one thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't like this, and I seen somebody say this in a tweet, and I thought the exact same thing, and I was actually going to tweet something similar before it, but I was like, you know what, let's just enjoy the goal. I'm not a big fan of this demise story of Odsonne Edouard. That's kind of this narrative that he's scored, oh thank God, oh my God, Edouard is back. I'm like, he was never away.
He scored against Dundee. I know it was a penalty, but he still scored.
Aye, but like before that as well, just because he wants to leave doesn't mean the guy's finished. There's been a lot of people like making out as if like I don't know. There's just this narrative here that the guy was done. And he was
I think there's a lot of Celtic fans, and this is a bit weird as well, that want Edward to fail. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there is. Maybe.
I feel a lot of people are directing their sort of anger of last season towards him. When I don't think he was involved with a lot of the bad things that happened last season.
He was top scorer in the league,
He was top goal scorer, aye. You could be directing your anger at certain other strikers that weren't about last year, that stormed up the pitch yesterday when they didn't get
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that as well. So basically he stormed up through his...
When Ayeti came on, Griffiths went straight up the tunnel.
It's a bit childish.
It's childish, but it's routine for Griffiths because he is a child.
I'm sorry, I'm surprised that I've not seen like a lot more of it on social media. Like,
if it was Edward, if Edward had done that, it would have been front page news or back page news rather. There'd have been a lot more made about that, but I guess it's just routine behaviour for Griffiths, so it's what you come to expect from a childish individual.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, I left the game and I seen people in the group chats and saying like, oh, Griffiths this, Griffiths that, and I was like, what the fuck's he done now? I was like, I've been caught messaging again, you know. I was like, what's going on here?
Watch when you're going down that road, it's difficult to get back off
and I was like, what's going on? And then I had the story explained to me. I was like, for fuck's sake. Like, I didn't even realise he was on the bench yesterday, I must be honest. I honestly had no idea.
His name stood out when I seen it. I was like, what is he doing?
Never seen him, never seen his name.
Because I just knew that, well, or at least I thought he was a certainty to come on, because obviously you can get 5 subs in the League Cup. I was like, oh God, he could be brought on and this circus can start again. Because the circus happened at the West Ham game. There was only, what was there, like 15,000 at that game at that point?
Aye, something like that.
Imagine that with 60,000 fans. And to be fair, when he was warming up, a lot of fans were applauding him in that. I was like, this is a bit worrying. What if he comes on and the majority of people are cheering him?
He comes on to a loud and welcoming and warmful cheer.
An applause. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have stood up and clapped him. I would have just been nonplussed.
I would have sat in silence, I think. I would have sat in silence.
Aye, because there's no point in even getting involved.
Yeah,
in the
it's just got to cause a toxic. I suppose you want to cheer him, which I think is weird. Cheer him, but I mean,
it's a very weird hill to die on. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. But anyway, Edouard and Kyogo both getting goals yesterday. That first goal was just delicious, by the way. What one of the best goals I've seen at Celtic Park. The build up, the passing, the move, and the tempo, just brilliant. But Kyogo's finish as well, I think Craig Gordon does give him a bit of a hand, I must admit. I think that maybe the touch that Gordon gets on it helps direct it into the net the way it does, but still a magnificent finish to get him at the near post. And the angle he was at, it was obscure. I did not expect it to hit the back of the net where I was sitting.
No, definitely not. There was easier chances in the game that we could have put away, but I think Craig Gordon had one of his very, very much a Craig Gordon performance where he can make save after save after save, but he'll concede a goal that is really, really soft. And I'm glad that sort of revisionism just gets dealt with in that game, because he wasn't good enough to come back to Celtic. That was never even happening. And he showed again today.
Do you not think he would be good enough to play for Celtic?
What, again? No, he's always got a mistake in him.
Do you not think Joe Hart's got a mistake in him?
Joe Hart's had 75 caps for England.
I'm just asking a question.
I'm playing
devil's advocate here. Yes, I'm playing devil's advocate.
That time's passed. Besides, he's a bit of an arsehole as well. And there was people clapping him before the game coming back. I was like, this guy chucked the ball at Edward when Edward Panenka him. He's been an absolute dick ever since he left Celtic. And he's got a wee bit too much to say for himself. I think his ego's a wee bit overinflated as well.
Has he done something to you?
No, he just annoys me. Now, don't get me wrong, he was a great goalkeeper for Celtic, considering where he was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we gave him his career back, so I would expect him to be a wee bit more respectful.
You tell him, son.
No, I just...
Get him tell.
And he doesn't respect the sanctity of marriage either, so, do you know...
Dear.
But enough about him, man. He had a good performance yesterday, a lot of really good saves, but at the same time, he let in a really, really like sort of soft goal. You expect a goalkeeper, well, maybe not our goalkeepers, to sort of protect their near post, that near side, and he didn't do that. Kyogo, it was a good finish by Kyogo, but it's probably one he didn't expect to go in the net. He looked a wee bit relieved when it went in.
He kind of, the camera panned to his wee face, and of course I love that, but he was like kind of surprised in a way, I think, that he actually did find the back of the net. But look, 3-2, can't complain, we keep rolling. yeah, we need to cut out those sort of errors. I'm hoping that comes with defensive stability and signings and recruitment.
Reinforcements, aye.
Yep. But you know, I was delighted. Once again, I met I cut a few folk at the game yesterday, and I wish I caught their names, but it was an older gentleman who was sitting there, and I was walking up the stairs half time with my chips and curry sauce and my Fanta, my Celtic Park Fanta, and he tapped my arm and he said to me, he was like, "You'll be happy on your show tonight." And I was like, aye, brilliant.
He's
brilliant.
watching?
Yeah, he's watching. Well, if he's watching just now, I'm all happy. I'm actually just chuffed at the moment with how well Celtic are playing. And it's good to have, you know, talk about just from a general happiness point of view, right? Brilliant just having Celtic play well. It's good to have the football back as well, general Premier League, Bundesliga, all the rest of it. It's just and there's crowds and everything. It's just like normality.
Nature is healing.
Nature is just it's great, and even even made the difference seeing that main stand full. I know they still had those two wee sections beside the dugouts empty, but the majority of the main stand was full. As I shouted my abuse to Don Mackay from 412, but
did you actually?
I wish I could, mate. I wish I could.
We're in the fan media press conference.
But I'll never shy away from telling the truth. I feel like
all right, George Galloway.
Gotta start well, I'm on it. No, but it's great. It makes me happy with Celtic playing well. You know, I'm too used to Celtic playing well. That one season was a blip.
It was a blip.
That's all it was. It was a blip.
It was the blip. Thanos with his click. That was it.
The click of the fingers, the turn to dust. Neil Lennon.
Turn to dust. I'll shut him up. I need to stop with Neil Lennon, man. Honestly. But he needs to stop. He needs to move on.
He does.
We'll move on if he moves on.
Like, get over us, mate.
I know.
You had your time.
It's good to be back at the game. It's good. It would be good to be back under any manager. But the way we're playing just now, I'm just looking forward to every game.
And
being there in person and watching the sort of
it's some of the best football I've ever seen in Celtic Park, and that's including Brendan Rodgers football. Like, this is some of the we spoke about this. The kind of the direct approach. You know. He wants to entertain. Remember when he came to the club and he said, the kind of football he had kind of instilled upon him by his father and all the rest of it. Like, it must have been good football because it's proper, just exciting to watch, and he wants us to leave with getting our money's worth, and that's what I like.
I like his hunger as well. He obviously wants to improve, and he obviously sees this as a chance. He's the sort of poster boy for Australian football at the moment, in terms of like a managerial role. He's got the whole of Australia basically supporting him in this journey. This is a big moment for him. He can totally like transcend Australian football if he does well. It could be a gateway for other Australian managers to sort of make that jump as well, which is great. We've got a lot more Australian fans. I've noticed that. You see loads of people in Australia talk about us. Loads of people in Japan talk about us as well, which is great.
We truly are. We're
global.
We're massive.
Global, baby.
We're massive.
I'm 110, 20%. I know you can't get that, but I'm anyway. On the Ange bus, I would die for this guy, honestly.
I would die for this man's jumper. Do you know, never mind him.
You see this jumper? 100% win ratio.
And the jumper.
It's the jumper. It's a shirt and jumper tag.
Oh, is it a jumper? It's a jumper. A jumper.
My only problem is he's matching navy trousers with a black cardigan.
Well, he can do what he wants, mate.
I suppose it could be different in Australia. It could be a fashion. He could maybe be introduced to something.
He is the pinnacle of fashion. He is a fashionista. He is Dolce Gabbana.
Do you think he'll have an aftershave line? Like a Celtic aftershave line?
Goals by Ange.
Goals by
Ange. Just picture the advert.
Building by Ange.
Do you like smelling great while playing football? We're goals by Ange.
I'm trying to think of some of his quotes. I can't even think of any. I'm just sort of mesmerised when he speaks already.
I'm not a fashion designer, mate. I'm a football manager.
Out of space by Ange.
Outer space. Some people think I'm from outer space. You could smell like that too.
Right. No, I'm absolutely loving the guy. The guy is absolutely brilliant. He's a breath of fresh air, but I do think his teams need a wee bit of protection from the referees, because 4 or 5 times yesterday Hearts were halving us.
Yep, it was shocking yesterday. To say the least, shocking. Right, okay, we've touched on Saturday. The next league game now is St Mirren. I think that's next week. We'll kind of
Sunday,
talk about that in a moment. But let's talk about midweek. AZ Alkmaar is huge. Conference League football is an absolute minimum. We're going to get that. We know that.
Good.
But it's not good enough, Ryan. It's not good enough. We are Celtic Football Club.
Ask me after the first leg if it's good enough.
We should be playing in the Europa League or the Champions League, ideally Champions League, but right now we find ourselves at a level where we mostly are competing in Europa League. We need to qualify for this in my eyes. I know that AZ Alkmaar's a tough game. I look at them though, they lost their opening game at the weekend against the side who I believe finished 15th in the Dutch Eredivisie last season. So that's quite worrying for them. Apparently, they've lost a good few players and in a little bit of a nick. We need to take advantage.
It's the captain as well that isn't playing for them.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if he came on as a sub in the second half.
Yep.
But he didn't start the game, I know that.
Well, put it this way, Ryan. Wednesday night, I want us to go out and once again, take no prisoners. And I really do want us to score as many goals as possible. And we can get the job done at Wednesday night at Celtic Park. I really do believe that. Now, if we were to go out in Summit, and I don't think we are going to blow AZ Alkmaar out the water because they are a solid side. They finished, Christ almighty, that was a loud in that. They are a good side. They finished, only 3 points behind PSV last season.
3 points, not 1 point.
Not 1 point.
I got that question wrong, yes.
Or whatever way about it was, I can't actually remember. It might have been the other way about, maybe, I don't know. But they were narrowly behind PSV last season. They're a good side. It's not realistic to suggest that Celtic are going to go there and they're going to win 3, 4, 5-0. Are going to do that at Celtic Park. But if we do go and win by 2 or 3 goals, I am almost 100% confident we can go away from home and protect that and go through to the Europa League group stages.
Yep.
So Wednesday night, the job is massive.
You've just got to go out there, score as many goals as you can, and sort of take it away from them. I was reading someone talking about Alkmaar's game and said that although they get beat at the weekend, their metrics were really high. They should have scored a few goals. They were a bit unlucky in front of goal. They were good on the ball.
A bit like ourselves.
Yeah, so it could be a blockbuster game on Wednesday. I said it last night on that Twitter Spaces, but I think there could be a lot of goals in this game. These Dutch teams are no mugs. They're good on the ball. They've got good youth players. I know I'm sort of going into the Dutch football stereotypes there, but they're never usually bad on the ball or anything. They'll be an okay outfit. We just need to bring our game. We need to dictate the game. Sort of majority of the possession in our hands. Get goals, get Kyogo scoring goals, and take the tie away from them. Do as much of the job in the first leg as possible, so that the second leg isn't an uphill battle for us.
Love the Dutch. I love Louis van Gaal back at the helm.
What's your favourite Dutch city?
Oh, good question. I
thought this would have been a shooty-in one.
I'm a big fan of Rotterdam. I do know I like Utrecht.
Utrecht.
That
just reminds me of Neil Lennon's first season.
But Rotterdam's a good answer. The question, the main question is though, right? Let's be serious now for a moment, right?
Are we ever serious?
No, of course we're not. Last week I was comparing the Passion of Christ to Vasilis Barkas.
That was a real low moment in our podcast. It's a high moment, but a low moment.
I was about to say a low moment. It's my proudest moment in the podcast.
Fair.
I found out that we made another. What was it yesterday? Kiernold at the game we added in. Oh no, I can't say that. I'll keep it for off camera. Actually, okay. I remember what it is, but I can't say it. The real question is, Ryan, right? If we don't make it through, and we've got 2 legs to talk about this. We don't know what the conversation's going to like come the next podcast because we'll have a first leg tie over.
Yep.
The real question is, if we fail to qualify for the Europa League, should it be looked at as a failure? If we're in the Conference League, do you think it's a failure? Now, I'm not putting any of the blame on Ange Postecoglou. I'm not putting any of the blame on the players. They're doing everything they can, and right now they're playing so well, and he's doing so well with his resources. The blame will ultimately be shifted onto the board for failing us to prepare.
It probably is then a failure.
It's a failure. It is. I don't feel like we can hide away from that.
Purely on the board.
I'm not giving any, unless somehow we go and get beat about 10-0 and Ange just standing there like, well, of course I'm going to put some blame on Ange, but realistically right now, if we go out, which I hope we don't, the board need to accept that this is a catastrophic failure, I would say. Not making either of the two. This competition was set up for Hibs and Aberdeen, not for Celtic. Let's remember that. It's not a Celtic competition.
What, the Conference League?
Aye, it was set up for...
We can win it though.
I don't care if we can win it. We shouldn't be in it.
Well, actually...
we should be in the Champions League.
To be fair, I watched Spurs yesterday. They could probably win it.
Aye, they probably will win it.
But there's still some good teams in there.
Aye,
good
I know,
historic
but
teams.
come on. The Celtic, we won the European fucking
let's be
Cup.
honest though. The way the sort of third place in the Europa League goes, I wouldn't be against us getting third place in the Europa League in the group to go into the Conference League and then go a run at that.
I wouldn't mind it, but you've got to remember that this is a team that 17 years ago, the season before Peter Lawwell took charge, was in the final of the Europa League.
Aye, but at the same time, it would be nice to win a knockout tie because it's been 18 years.
I know. There is,
And we would do that in the Conference League.
yeah,
I
but
think.
that's different. I think that's measuring. That's measuring like happiness in a single moment over the actual success of the football club. Like, we need to
starting
be.
to sound like one of them, right? You're starting to sound like a bold sympathiser there.
How much? Whoa!
Look at all the nice, happy moments that we've had. It doesn't matter about Europe or knockout ties that we've failed to prepare.
I'm
for.
saying the opposite of that.
I'm just winding you up.
You fucking better be. Not sound. I literally like. I feel like it's great. I know. I love a European away day, right? Trust me, I love it. I love
Never
winning.
been on one?
No, that's poor. And I love knockout ties, and I love winning a football, and all the rest of it. But I just can't shake the opinion that we are really underachieving in Europe if we're in the Conference League. We should not be in there. It's just a bit embarrassing, I think. And I know a lot of that's going to be a real 50-50 split. A lot of people won't agree with me on that, but it's my opinion. It's my hill that I'll die on.
Do you not think we could get momentum by being in that competition
No, absolutely not. Right,
no, but if
listen, right, we were in the Champions League a hell of a lot between the years of Gordon Strachan and Neil Lennon's first tenure. We're in the Champions League group stages a hell of a fucking lot.
Yep, that is
and
true.
we were doing well at times. We had good results. We could compete against teams. We weren't getting blown out the fucking water. We took 2 years out of the Champions League to play in the Europa League. We came back and we were getting our arse spanked.
I feel like football changed a lot in that.
It did, and I've always said that from the transfer of Gareth Bale onwards, football really took a drastic and rapid development in terms of money being spent, the teams developing. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that those 2 years away from playing in the Champions League really did halt us from being at a level to go. And I know we got a good result against Manchester City, 2 good results against Manchester City, in fact, but still, we were so far off the level that we were required to be at, and that probably comes down to the fact that players are not competing constantly at the highest level. So what happens then when we take 2 years in the Conference League?
I know them are not good enough for
Them are not good enough for the Europa League, and that's embarrassing.
Yeah, you've kind of swayed me on this now. Now I really want us to get into the Europa League, and then
Did you not really want us to get into the Europa League?
No, I did, but I didn't see the conference has been that much of a drop off from the Europa League. I mean, in finances, there's not that much of a difference. It's not as big as the gap from the Europa League to the Champions League. But it's probably best that we have the sort of Europa League, no, the Conference League. I'm getting mixed up with them already. The Conference League is a sort of backup if we finish third in the Europa League group stages. Because let's be honest, if we finish third in a Europa League group, that's an improvement on last year, because it was arguably one of the worst group stages we've ever had, apart from the 2 games against Lille, actually. But it'll be interesting to see if we can get through. I mean, I'm quietly confident that we can do the job, especially at home against Alkmaar. But I've always got that worry away from home with Celtic that we can just collapse.
Yeah. We easily can, to be fair. We easily can.
Seen it so many times.
But do you know what's going to be interesting? If we'll do it the way we always do it. Like, you know, when we play like in these playoff rounds, you know, we always seem to give ourselves a right task, don't we? It's
a Celtic way.
Life should be easy and we make it hard. It's just the way it goes all the time. So it'll be interesting to see if we manage to keep up that. I hope not. I want us just to go through. I want the job done, and I want us to get back to focusing on league football.
I think the disappointment with Europe this season, for me especially, was the home leg against Midtjylland.
Yeah,
because that was a missed opportunity.
Oh, it was.
See when Abada puts that goal in, Celtic Park was absolutely rocking with the 9,000 fans that were there. Beaton, it's individual errors that cost us from usual suspects, unfortunately. Beaton and Barkas, who I know you're a fan of Barkas and you might want to cut this out, but he has let us down a lot of times as well. I mean, as much as I wanted to support him. it's those individual errors that cost us, and we wouldn't even be in this position if we'd got through against Midtjylland. There seems to be this pressure of getting through to Alkmaar to get into Europa League, but if we would have beat Midtjylland, then we would have had Europa League guaranteed.
Yep.
Like the PSV game would have been, the PSV game would have just been a free hit. But at the same time, you can look at it another way. I feel like the Jablonec game has given us a confidence booster as well.
Yeah.
I think they've sort of rode that confidence into the league games and the League Cup games because they done so well against Jablonec. Maybe not defensively, no, but attacking wise, we scored 7 goals and they only scored 2, so it was a good result. But I think it's definitely been a confidence booster.
Just trying to look through the AZ's Alkmaar side.
A couple of familiar names. Jordi Classy plays for them.
Yeah, you're the classes. I was about to say there. Bruno Martins Indy.
Stoke,
Remember him? With the eyes. Remember the photo at the
him
World
and
Cup?
Dembele would have great eyes together, wouldn't they? The big scary psycho
Aye,
eyes.
aye. They've got a few players in there that I recognise. Albert Gudmundsson.
Yep.
Danny DeVith. I always used to find his name funny because it's like DeWitt.
DeWitt.
Aye, so.
Who did he play for beforehand? Did he play for
I think he played for. Let me check. Did he play for like a Feyenoord or something like that?
like a PSV or something? Like that?
Maybe I think so. Let me check. Either that, he's just been at Alkmaar the whole time.
There's definitely some names.
Ajax. It was Ajax. He was at.
I remember him playing for Ajax actually. But there's some familiar names there. You find that though. A lot of the Dutch players sort of going a wee roundabout as well. Teams like if they don't really make it, or if their time is expired at Ajax, and that they'll maybe go down to an Alkmaar or a Feyenoord or something. But it's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see us again at Parkhead because I think Wednesday will be a great atmosphere. And we need to feed off that. We need to give the energy to the team. I think they've been loving it. I think you can see it in the performance. Brilliant yesterday, wee Kyogo, ramping up the crowd. I love that. I absolutely love that, and everybody's just buying in at the moment.
I liked his celebration after the goal as well. Do you know he was doing Japanese for I love that. You see, make your own character. Character development. I love it.
It's crazy how we've went from having the greatest number 8 of all time to the greatest number 8 of all time.
Exactly, and I don't miss him. I don't miss Brown.
I miss him a wee bit.
I miss him a wee bit, but the football is so much faster.
Do you know what's mad, right? I miss him from a kind of like personal point of view. I'm like, Scott Brown is like one of my favourite, if not my favourite Celtic player in my lifetime, one of the top 3 probably anyway, and I miss him from that aspect of things, a personal point of view. But I've not noticed he's gone.
No,
I thought there was definitely going to be one occasion in these opening fixtures of like, we are missing Scott Brown, we're missing that leader, but McGregor has filled the shoes brilliantly, and honestly I've not in a cheeky way, but I've not noticed him being gone.
No, I think the only time we maybe missed him was our game management, or sort of the game against Hearts at Tynecastle. But even then, he probably maybe couldn't have done the job that he could have done 5 years ago, although he has been having good performances for Aberdeen.
Yep.
The midfield's a lot quicker with McGregor playing that sort of role, or McCarthy when he comes in. I thought he had a couple of really good touches yesterday. Obviously, I have a couple of weeks for him to get his fitness up to full speed, but once you can see he can do a job. You can see he's polished as a footballer and he knows his craft, which is great.
For Wednesday night, I'm confident. I do think we can walk out Celtic Park with a win, and let's touch on one part here. It's madness how that changes in a couple of weeks. But do you know what I love? And I really love this. And you know what? Maybe it is true. Maybe we'll see. I'm addressing the camera because I'm meaning everything I say here. I've seen a lot of comments from particularly Rangers fans over the last few videos that I've made, and they've been like, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. You're going to collapse. You're beating the third best. You're beating Dundee. You're beating Hearts. You're beating. You won't be able to hack it against a great opponent. We'll see. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't.
Took them until their second game of the season to collapse, to be fair, and then they collapsed in the next 2. So I say the same about them, to be fair. So, but
I've seen a lot of comments, and I know it's not every Rangers fan. I'm not letting that being the generalisation of what Rangers fans think of Ange Postecoglou going Celtic right now. I think mostly probably just want to focus on your own team. But there's been a lot of comments saying you're going to get absolutely battered at Ibrox. You're going to get battered off Alkmaar. You don't know what's about to hit you, and I can't wait. It makes me more and more excited because right now I'm completely bought into Ange, and I think it's nonsense really to suggest that we're not good enough because the teams we're beating aren't good enough. Like, you can only beat what's in front of you.
What is this battering based off of? Is this based off of Rangers form? Because it only seems as if they can take goals off of Livingston and Dunfermline, who aren't really of a great level. compared to the other teams that they play against. It looks as if any time that they come up against a team with a game plan or a sort of settled team or whatnot, they struggle. They struggled against Dundee United. They struggled against Malmo.
I think it'll be a magic game. I'm looking forward to the first derby. I think it'll be really, really good.
Best one in years.
I think it's going to be very entertaining, and especially with the crowd being there, you know, it feels like it. I must be honest, it feels like it's going to be the first derby in 2 years. Because they didn't.
I'd like to think of it as
they
that,
didn't feel. I know, and that's not me taking away the results that Rangers got. They battered us, right? Fair enough. We didn't get a fucking look in, but they didn't feel like derby games.
No,
they didn't. Without the crowd, it just felt like a training exercise.
Felt very saturated.
I mean, the normal games were bad enough, but the derby, just because you're so buzzing for it, and then there's just no atmosphere there, and the teams aren't feeding off it. It just didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it at all, which is annoying.
I feel like
I'm buzzing for it.
We've got our house in check now. Or it's getting there. You can already see the improvement. I mean, probably Hearts seen the improvement from 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago now. And that's why I'm excited. So I'll wait and see. I'll see how the comments, I can reply to the comments soon. I maybe right.
Just quickly, that's the same sort of time period from now until the Rangers game. Let's see how much improvement we can make in the next 2 weeks.
And that's why Alkmaar's so important. Get this confidence in the players and get players through the door. Yeah, I think what my point was going to be was, it is crazy, and you've kind of touched on it there. When this draw was done, we were in this studio. We were here. And it was after we'd been knocked out by Michelin, remember?
Yep. We had no chance.
And we sat here, it was off camera because we just finished recording. It was just after we finished recording, and we looked at our phones, and we'll play Alkmaar in the playoff round. And me, you, and I believe it was Kieran, might have been Callum, but I think it was Kieran.
Kieran and Callum. Yep.
It was one of the two. The three of us looked at each other and went, well, we're fucked it. We're fucked. We're not getting to the Europa League. But now I sit in this chair and I go, bring on Alkmaar. I really do think we can beat them.
Ange effect. We've got a guy, you can see he's putting in the work in the background to improve this team, and I'm just hoping that the board are putting the same amount of work to get him backed as much as possible. This guy deserves the backing. He's performed minor miracles with this team. He's getting performances out of players that I didn't think had it in them anymore. Christie, Rogic, McGregor to a lesser extent. I always knew he was going to be a good player, but he's already back to his best. He is a captain, but a different sort of captain than Scott Brown, I would say. He doesn't need to do as much shouting around the pitch, but he's always available for a pass. I'm loving what Ange is doing with this team, and long may it continue. Hopefully the board back him with the players that he needs to succeed, because if we back him, I've got no doubt we'll succeed.
Yep, that's it. And let's transition nicely then on to our next topic. We'll talk a bit more about Wednesday, and the match preview video or stream that I do, which will be out on Tuesday or Wednesday. So stay tuned, probably Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Oh my God.
But they're coming thick and fast. This is what I'm excited about.
So it makes it weird. It makes it difficult for the podcast, because I'm like, I could easily do like 5 podcasts a week at this rate. Like we could just literally do an hour daily show. Because there's just so much to talk about.
I think a lot of other podcasts are struggling to sort of like time when they do a podcast. Something happening.
I like the Monday slot. Monday works well. I feel like, you start your week with a podcast. You catch up on what happened at the result before. You have a discussion and you look to the week ahead. I like that
because
it works on a Monday.
We hardly ever play on a Monday anyway. So you've got that sort of
never
point.
Playing a Monday. I don't think ever in our history of Celtic. Well, in my living history, can I remember Celtic playing a Monday night?
I can't think.
You don't get Monday night football.
Monday nights aren't for football apart from the Premier League. To be honest.
So like, it's good. On Monday, it's like you start your week. It comes out nice and early, and you start your week with it. I like that. But let's talk about backing the manager.
Absolutely.
That's what we need to do now. We need to back him now. Mr. In the Know, as you like to call you. He doesn't actually claim to be an in the know. He's not one of them.
It's just a joke. It's just a work.
It's just a work. It's just a work. Oh, not even talked about it. My work on Wednesday night. Christ, I had them on strings.
Was that?
Do you want my video? Oh, no booing him off the park over here.
Oh, brilliant!
I was like, I know this is going to get a couple of people. I can't believe that it actually got as many people as it did. I was like, all right.
They're a tetchy bunch, aren't they? Especially when they've had the defeat. They get a wee bit angry. The Bears start growling, don't they?
They start growling. It was an elaborate work by myself, to say the least.
Beautiful.
Enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. But I tell you what, it's not as good as the work of Joe Black, MBE.
This guy, we
can't beat this guy.
No. Do you know? I asked him whereabouts he sits at Celtic Park because he's utterly obsessed with us. I don't know how he hasn't got a season ticket, because he's had the whole This is only, I'm thinking of this year. He was outside Celtic Park looking at the construction of Celtic Park. So I'm guessing he's qualified for that. I'm guessing he's got his sort of pass to do that sort of thing. He's also he must have a journalism degree because he knew what Eddie Howe was doing every second day, or every second minute rather, of every day. Now he's going on about how much players are, what was it in fact he was going on about?
It's about money all the time.
It's about money.
Fans and
There was another Rangers fan as well.
There he comes.
There he's away for being an imposter. Then there's another guy saying that Joe Hart was worth 7 million. They took a screenshot of his market valuation, not seeing that below it said 2016. That was his market value. He's like, how are Celtic paying for this guy? I'm like, I think you are in the least possible sort of standing point to talk to us about finances.
Funny. It actually cracks me up sometimes. It really does. It cracks me up.
And a lot of Rangers fans will say it's very one-sided, the obsession with Rangers from Celtic fans, but it's completely not. It's the other way about as well. A lot of them are obsessed with us.
It's just both. It's the nature of the beast, isn't it?
The rivalry.
It's the rivalry. It's
and
just,
you see it, I don't know about you, but you see it all the time with the fans just arguing with each other, and it's the same argument under every single post on Twitter.
Yep.
It's like, oh, your club died, and then they'll mention something about something we done in the past, and then it's that and that and that, and like you could honestly write it what they're going to say next. It's exhausting. I
don't even bother. I don't engage. I'm like, there's no point.
I just read it and I just
and then it's
the same screenshots as well. I'm like, they all share it with each other. I'm just so happy I can mostly focus on my own team, to be honest.
No, but what were we talking about before we get? My work was marvellous, terrific, really was. But on that note, we need to back the manager. We need to line the team with players who are qualified to do what we need to do, and that's win football games. We are winning at the moment, which is great. Is it sustainable with the depth in the squad we have? Absolutely not. I don't think so. You're an injury away from being let down. So Josip Juranovic, Josip Juranovic back on the move, back on the cards. We tried for the City player, Mr.
Koto.
Yes, we tried for him. Not happening. Couldn't convince him. So now we're back in for Juranovic, who was a player. Thank you. Who was a player that only a week ago apparently we didn't have we weren't paying for, we weren't getting the funds for. But Ryan, I hope we get this done and over the line.
Much more excited about this than Jan Koto. Now, Jan Koto might be a better player or a better prospect, but that's a loan deal. We need a permanent player in here that'll do the job for the next 3-4 years. This was a position of absolute urgency when we sold El Hamed and Frimpong. And we brought in a right back, which was obviously John Joe Kenny, which was a nightmare. So we were going into this season with just Anthony Ralston. We need a permanent right back that's going to be there. This guy's got caps for Croatia. He's played in the Euros. He's got an absolute wand of a foot on him to deliver crosses, and he looks as if he can do the job as well. I'm all for this. We need to pay the money, get him in the door, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's just starting games from here on out. If he comes in, I don't know what he needs to do. If we sign him, he needs to isolate. I was thinking maybe the next couple of weeks we just bed him in, and then he'll be the starting right back.
We need to get it done though. I've had enough of this messing about and negotiating. Give them the asking price. Give them the money.
Speculate to accumulate. I say it all the time, but do you know what? This season is a £30 million jackpot, because we go straight. The winners of whoever wins this league gets into the Champions League. Did I say Champions League twice there? It felt like
you said the winner of this league will go into the Champions League.
It sounded the same in my head.
Probably because of what leagues there.
Do you know what? It is the same, because if you win the league, you get in the Champions League. So
that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. We need to win this competition. I'm talking about the league, obviously. I'm putting myself in a total wind up here. We need to win the league to get in the Champions League. So in order to do that, we need to get the players in that are going to do that job and do that job well. Juranovic looks like a really good player. If he's playing for Croatia, he's no mug. They don't have mugs in their team.
This is the team that finished runners up at the World Cup in 2018.
Yep, he actually played against Scotland. I didn't really notice him, but I looked back on it and he played the full 90 minutes. So he's obviously quite a fit guy. I mean, that's quite obvious. He's a football player. He's a professional football player. That is a given. But he seems like the sort of guy that can come in and totally take that position as his own. Yep.
And he looks as though he's got, from what I've managed to see, sorry, I was extremely tired working last night. But from what I managed to see, he looks so he's got a good delivery. Looks like he would fit the system and getting forward. Like he can get narrow as well whenever we need him to. He really does have all the ingredients of what seems to be an Ange Postecoglou fullback.
And he's 26.
And he's 26.
Another
prime his
player
career.
in his prime. That is the prime for a sort of right back, left back, because they'll be at their physical optimum, and they can play.
I like that physical optimum.
Yeah, they'll be at their optimum peak for a player.
Nice.
Throwing out these words, man.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to
see,
steal that.
this is why it's better recording at 12 o'clock than at 9 o'clock. See those words, they would still be sleeping in my head.
Yes,
now
yes.
they're here.
I mean, I'm still sleeping, to be fair.
I'm on my second can of Coke.
I've had no food.
Flowing through me.
I woke up at 10:30 this morning. I sat there in my bed, lied there, and then just the days away, I was falling asleep behind the wheel, man. It's ridiculous. That wasn't actually, like, I'm not that bad, but I'm just shattered.
Tell you what I had for my lunch today. This is just a side thing. 2 slices of Billy Bear meat. Not on anything, just on their own.
Oh, that's disgusting.
No, it's not.
Billy Bear meat is genuinely some of the worst food ever to exist. Ever. And at the same time...
Are you just a butcher now?
Well, I mean, you're the one eating Billy Bears,
Billy Bear, yep.
Aye. What are you? You are them, aye?
Must be Billy Bear.
But I'm not a butcher.
Staunch points.
I'm not a butcher, but I know what good meat is, and I know that Billy Bear is the worst of every meat ever to exist. Genuinely.
Why did I laugh at good meat?
Genuinely disgusting. It's got to get taken out of context, isn't it? What is it I said? I know what good meat is.
Yeah.
Oh my.
There's something I said last week about Joe Hart, and I don't know if it was Kieran or that, or was it Buick that quoted it, or not quoted it, or sort of spliced it out of the thing, out of context, and it sounded really, really odd.
I can't think, but Billy Bear meat is genuinely woeful, like so bad.
Do you know, it does the business for me.
No, that is honking.
But back to...
Why do you not just get a slice of gammon?
Because I didn't have any. We got 2 packets there. I was like...
What?
But I space all the Billy Bear meat out during the day.
Is there a child in your house?
I am the child. Well,
You're
to be fair,
23 years old, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm 24 next month as well, but my wee brother's 14 and he likes it as well. We're a very Billy Bear family.
Oh, Billy Bear family.
Did you know, back to
Back
Juranovic. Get him in.
Do you think he likes Billy Bear meat?
I hope he does.
They're going to offer him.
I can share it with him. A fan media press conference, there you go.
Is that it?
Oh, you cunt, that's a bit of ham. I just whacked the microphone. This is descending into absolute chaos. This is the broken podcast.
And Koi Katura, what's the situation with him, Mr. Fabrizio Romano?
McGinlay in the know. I don't know if I've heard anything new about that, but was he not isolating after the Olympics? So that's the only problem I've got. If he's already isolating and he needs to isolate again, he'll be quite behind in his whole getting back into club football. But he's the sort of guy that I would want in and around the team for Furuhashi as well, to have like a fellow Japanese player in there to sort of acclimatise him well. He seems like he's acclimatising well already. He's getting selfies with half of Glasgow and IKEA. Yep. And his interpreters driving him about. It's like they've bought him a best pal, which I'm loving.
That's nice.
Do you know, as long as Kyogo's happy, then I'm happy.
If it's good enough for Kyogo, it's good enough for me.
Yep.
Right, okay. Is there any other transfer stories you want us to know about, Ryan?
I just want us to get Lovric, to be honest. See if Christie's going to go. I don't know if he's going to go or not. His contract's up in January, is it not? Yep. So we'd be better dealing with this right now than waiting until January and having nobody in that position. Yeah. Because we can't trust Mikey Johnson to be fit any time of the year. If we do qualify for Europe, and it seemed as if that was the way the report was going, that we weren't going to buy Lovric until we'd qualified for Europe, which is such a weird way to go about business, because do you not think this sort of guy...
You'd buy him for qualifying for Europe, surely.
Yes, you speculate to accumulate. You bring in the guy to do the business for you so that you're automatically in Europe rather than taking risks. But if we are going to get into Europe, I mean, we are going to be in Europe anyway, but it's the Conference League or the Europa League. Need to get him in. The guy, I know everyone from Celtic gets a bit of stick for it, but he's liking stuff on Instagram about Celtic. Like, the guy is basically asking for a move at this point. I don't think he's a Celtic fan. It'd be a wee bit weird if he's just... Unless he's like best pals with Simonovic for like 5 years ago.
Aye.
But get him in the door. This guy, if we have a front three of Lovric on the left hand side, Kyogo up front, and Abada on the right hand side, that is the best attacking front three in Scotland, bar none. That is just explosive. That will score 50 goals between the three of them.
Christ.
Guaranteed.
You're right.
And I'm willing to die on that hill because they
Wow.
will absolutely obliterate Scottish defences.
Right. Big claim. Bold claim.
And two out of the three of them are in their prime, in Kyogo and Lovric. And Abada's only going to get better. Like, I've missed him the past couple of games.
Yes.
We've missed Abada because I'm going to stop before I say that because I might get the Forest fans on my back. But I think Abada right now is a better player than Forest.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I just think he gives more. Well, maybe not in
Wow.
terms of assists and goals. And I know Forest gets goals and assists a lot. Abada just has that star quality, the sort of like magician sort of quality in him when he's dribbling with the ball. I'm just hoping he's back for Wednesday because if he's fit enough for Wednesday, I'd throw him straight into the first team and put Forest out on the left.
Right, let's get on to the last portion of the show, Ryan. Twitter questions. You want to get them up and do your thing, do your shtick as we get to the last wee bit. It's been a good show for two people again, just the two Ryans, you know. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Sellik Podcast if you want to get involved with these sections of the show.
Thanks again for everybody for coming in with questions.
Yes.
I totally went in a stutter there for
I
some
forgot
reason.
to retweet it in my main account today.
I should
so
have done it as well.
so it's not maybe got as much traction as usual, but we've got questions.
Yep. So we'll start off with Ewan, who's at his Kyogo CSC. Love it already. Do you think Sorrell has a part to play in the team this season?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Agree. I think he should be playing on Wednesday.
There we go.
Jimmy asks, if you could fill only one position before the end of the season, who would you swap out?
Oh, it's between Ralston or Taylor.
Yeah.
It's between one of them. On current form, it would be Taylor, but I think I'll go Taylor. But only being linked to any left back, so.
I know that, but there has been a wee bit more talk about Scales as well,
Aye.
and he can play as a sort of centre half and as a left back.
Aye.
A lot of people are saying this Scales is the best player in the Irish league. That's a good thing if we're going for the best players in these leagues that not many people are talking about. Japanese league, best player Kyogo, get him in. Best player Scales in the Irish league, get him in. Because these guys could just be outstanding in their respective leagues. They might not be playing in the greatest league, but they could be outperforming the
Ready
league.
to take that next step as well.
And that's good.
It's always a good thing.
Instead of signing projects, and some of them might be projects, we're signing ready-made players because they're good enough to sort of step up, which is good. So Jax1888 asks, not a question, more a talking point. We are finally getting some success and joy from watching our team, but are we having the wool pulled over our eyes again by the board?
Yes.
When was the last time we signed a player? Rhetorical question.
But the last time we signed players was McCarthy and Hart. If we're talking about spending money, Kyogo, I think it would have been.
I mean, Hart spent, we spent, what, $1 million on Joe Hart?
Well, true, that's right, we did. I think it was a free contract as well. But yeah, I think the first point, though, about the will being pulled over eyes, yes, I do believe a little bit we are. And the board deserve criticism.
I think the board are kind of riding the wave of this initial success under Ange, that they're kind of getting away with not signing players because Ange is doing well. If the results weren't happening, if we'd have dropped points against Dundee
there'd be more protests. And
there'd be more. Yeah, I feel like the results are suppressing the anger towards the board just a wee bit. Yes, the anger's still there, and it's always laying dormant like a volcano, but we're one bad result away from people complaining about the board again, because that is where the anger is just... It's like that's always in the crosshair.
It's manifesting.
That sniper is always there at the board.
Yep.
That sounds absolutely ominous, by the way. I didn't mean it in that way. That could get us done.
Watch McGinlay. McGinlay.
Grassy no, CSC. But it's always there. It's always there, and it's always targeted at the board for when a bad result happens. Let me go through.
I am starving, by the way. Like,
is that you telling me to hurry up?
Pretty much, aye, because I'm starving. Like, I feel my stomach turning with every passing moment.
Look, a guy here, Kyogo's Athenian, that has put the whole Phineas and Ferb lyrics.
That's nice. That's good.
What a show, by the way.
What a show. Who was your favourite character?
Perry. I was going to actually do his thing there.
Perry! Mary the Platypus.
That really sounded like him, by the
No, it
way.
wasn't that great. I can do it better. I was just on the moment.
So Reese was a
that great?
fellow Coatbridge boy like myself. Does Abada immediately come in at the front three for Wednesday, or does Forrest keep his spot?
If Abada's fit, he comes back in. I have a feeling it'll be Forrest though. Being honest, I think it'll be Forrest.
Forrest on the left or on the right?
On
Back
the right. I think Forrest will
To be
play.
fair, he's a good player to bring on. 30 minutes to go.
Yep.
If he can only play 30 minutes, then that's ideal. Then it's
Aye.
good that we've got options in that, right?
Yep, that is.
Because we didn't have
We never,
any options
I know,
last season.
no, we didn't have any. We didn't have one.
But
And
then,
hopefully Dembele comes back as well.
exactly. I think right midfield is one of the positions that we're actually all right in, which is
Yep.
good. And that's good that we're coming towards the end of the window and we've got at least one area that we're all right in. That's quite encouraging.
Yep.
Jamie asks, where do you think we should put Ange and Kyogo's statues?
As the camera cuts off, we'll make this the last question. I think we should put them slap bang in the middle of the park and demand everybody to kiss the feet of both as we kick off our games.
That sounds very, very North Korean. That sounds very North Korean. You know how, have you ever watched those documentaries where
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to put the flowers down at the statue? That's what it should be, but it's like scarves.
Scarves.
Kyogo.
Scarves, aye. That's it.
He's godly already.
That'll
He's
do.
absolutely
Godlike.
He's biblical.
He is. And that'll do it. As the camera's off for the end of today's show, we would have the Celtic song playing us out, as I usually do.
Glenn Daly from the grave
Glenn
has told
Daly.
us you're not allowed that.
From beyond the grave,
I don't know.
has chopped us down.
I don't know if Glenn Daly's estate has the same sort of lawyers as Marvin Gaye's does. The ones that like they hear like a Marvin Gaye song, they're like lawsuit. It's
Give
gotta happen.
me money.
Yes.
I don't even think it was Glenn Daly or
It definitely wasn't.
it was. I think it was some sort of supporters club or something that I don't know. It's weird, but I think it's maybe because I played it a bit louder than usual. And I don't know. I have no idea, but we got copyright strike for it.
Shazammed it and they heard it. They're like, no, I can't have that.
Can't have that. That's the Sellik song, a universal song. Should be like Happy Birthday. You should be allowed to sing and use the Sellik song whenever you want.
Yes.
It's like an open sort of world thing.
Imagine if you had copyright for Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday to. I'm sure somebody did, and then like
Stevie Wonder?
it got made like free to. No, but that's different. That's not happy. That's not Happy Birthday to you, is it? But Happy Birthday to you. I'm sure somebody did have it, and then like it got made free domain because I'm not sure. Maybe no.
This is a really, really weird way to end the
Paul
podcast.
McCartney probably owns it. I think that but Paul McCartney doesn't even own the Beatles songs.
Michael Jackson at one
Michael
point. wasn't it?
Jackson did it at some point. Yeah.
That film statue. Remember that? That
Oh
was weird.
Christ! Aye,
That was very weird.
that was really odd.
and a very
Really,
weird
really
hill
odd.
to die on after the 90s as well.
I know. Right, okay, that'll do us. Ryan, thanks very much for joining me again. Thank you to everybody for listening at home. If you've been on YouTube, make sure to hit like and subscribe. If you've been on Spotify, make sure to follow the show and share out the show as well to get more people listening on the Spotify platform and Apple Podcasts. But that's it from us, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.